What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's Daily Devotional, man, and we're going through the book of John. We're in John chapter 20, verse 17 and 18. Let me check, make sure. 17 and... Oh, I'm sorry. 17. That's all we're on. Verse 17. We're going to do 18 in the next episode. So if you haven't read it yet, go ahead and stop the tape. See what it has to say, come back, and we're going to answer these questions, man. And if you have read it, then let's dive on in, man. What's going on? What's happening in the scriptures? Well, it says that Jesus tells Mary not to cling or not to hold on to him, that he has not yet ascended. He says, but go, and he gives a mandate to her. He says, go to my brothers and tell them I have not yet ascended to my Father and your Father, my God and your God. So this is unique right here. What's going on? This is a unique thing that's happening. And all of the time that Jesus has walked this earth and spoken about the Father, he has never said that it was their Father. In a couple of verses, though, he said the Father, kind of giving it an all-encompassing fatherhood. But in most of the references, and I believe there's over 100 that Jesus speaks about the Father, but it says that it is always my Father, and then I think twice in all of those times it's the Father. But here he says your Father, your God. He says mine and yours, because there is a new relationship that has been manifested because of the resurrection of Jesus. There is a new creation, if I might say. We talked about how it's in the garden and that this is representative of new creation, of a new world that Jesus is building as he redeems all of creation, us and the world. And this is part of it, man, that there is a status that goes from God being kind of distant, even though he was never distant, but being kind of distant. And then now, because of Jesus, there is a relationship that is garnered to the people who follow him. The people who follow him. That's something special. And John wants to point it out because the entire time that we are writing this, or he was writing this, he has spoken about the unique sonship of Jesus. But now that God has manifested himself to the disciples from his resurrection, we have the ability to become sons and daughters. That's what he talked about in the very first chapter, where it says those who believe has the right to be children of God. And now, because of the resurrection, we can take hold of that. We can grasp that. It's not far. It's near. And so what does this say about God? That he is drawing us to himself. He is making a way so that we might be in relation with him. This is our God. And he does it because he loves us. And he does it with power and majesty. And he does it through suffering. One thing that we know is that his pain was great. And so, however great your pain is, know that Jesus has walked that path. Jesus has felt that sorrow. He not only knows it intellectually because he knows all things, but he has felt it emotionally because he's experienced it. He's experienced it. So what's this say about man? What it says is that we are part of the family of God. We are part of the family of God. Do you recognize that? Someone who created this entire universe is massive and weighty and glorious, and we're a part of that family. We're a part of that kingdom if we believe, if we trust. So how do we apply these truths to our lives, man? I think we just recognize it, because it is something about knowing that we have relationships with God, that we are in a relationship with him. We can trust him. We can know him. He cares for and he loves us. There's something special about understanding that. That's something that we get to partake in, man. And it's not just being in this family, but we're going to be tasked to do something. I think in the last episode I might have said something about how Mary outwardly shows her listening to the call of Jesus. And we're going to see that in the next episode. But not only does he care for us and we're a part of family, but we are going to be tasked to do something. We're given purpose. We have been given purpose. And so the question now is the last question we always ask is, how do we apply these truths to our lives? Like, what do we do about this? How do we take this knowledge and live it out? I think it's imperative for us to recognize the love of God, to just know it and see it. That we're a part of what he is doing because he desires us to be a part of it. I think that's the thing that we should see, is that God wants us to be a part of it. We're a family. He has called us into his family, a unique family brought together by Jesus. And recognize also that it is only by Jesus and through Jesus that this relationship, this togetherness, I think Paul calls it, what does he call it? He calls it, I can't even think. It's reuniting, but it's bringing us together. That is what we get to do. Reconcilers. That's what it is that Paul calls us in 1 Corinthians, is that Jesus is reconciling us with himself and that we get to be a part of reconciling others. That's a beautiful thing. So today, after you've thought about that, contemplated, and just ruminated on how awesome Jesus is and that we're in relationship with him, how are you going to help to reconcile others to him? I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.